Are you worried about writer's block? You think you're gonna start and get stuck and not know how to continue? No need for that. Stay tuned and I'll be discussing in this video what you need to do. So writer's block in writing your biography or autobiography, there's absolutely no need for that. There's a very easy way to stay on track and continue to write down the things that matter. What am I talking about? Put yourself in your children's shoes or your grandchildren's shoes and ask yourself, what would they want to know about grandma or grandpa or dad or mom? Or great-grandchildren. Just think 100 years later, what would they like to know? And then in a very upside down, flip side kind of way, think about an ancestor you never met. Let's say they lived in, I don't know, in the 1800s. What would you have wanted to ask them? That's it. That's it. Again, pretend you are your children or your great-grandchildren. And then on the flip side, look backwards and say, if I had an ancestor in the 1800s, what would I like to ask them? That's a very easy way to stay on task, because for the ancestor, you may say, well, how did you live? What did you know about the world outside of your village or your hometown? Where did you get your water? Where did you cook your meals? How was it day to day? What sort of things mattered to you? How did you meet a spouse? Depending on the history, if you are, like I am, ancestrally from a place that was colonized, you may say, well, what were you guys doing when you heard people arrived from another country and took over the country? How did it impact you? What did you all think about that? Were you happy? Were you unhappy? Did you have a choice? Did you have anything you could do about it? Were you maltreated by the occupying authorities? How was it being thrust into a new world? That's a question I might have asked my grandfather, whose generation was, they were children when the Europeans colonized Nigeria. I may have said, how was it suddenly having a foreign power take over your country? And then think forward to your children, your great-grandchildren, your grandchildren. You know, I always like to tease, I have a little 8-year-old son, and we talk about him always pressing ahead here on electronics and asking me, Mom, how was it? There was no YouTube when you were little, you know, and for him that is so unbelievable. Like, how can you not have YouTube? But at the same time, when his children and grandchildren are growing up, there's probably gonna be a different world. I don't know what they're gonna have, robots, I don't know. You know, so thinking into the future and thinking backwards at the same time, putting yourself in those people's shoes and imagining what sort of questions they would want to ask you. They would want to know about your life. That's one easy way of overcoming writer's block. I tell you, you write today, you rest, and you take a walk, and in another week, you're gonna think of other things you would wish they knew, you would want to ask the older folks, okay? Let me know what you think about this. Do you ever have time to talk to a grandparent? What sort of questions do you ask them? What do you think your descendants would want to know about your life? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in my next video.